proud to serve northeastern and central Pennsylvania. This is WNEP TV 16, the news station. Now, Nolan Johannes, Karen Harch, Jack Ruland in Skycam 16, meteorologist Tom Clark with his backyard forecast, and Tim Carlson Sports. This is Newswatch 16 Update.
Good evening. I'm Nolan Johannes. Karen Harch has this night off. An earthquake tonight shook up parts of 11 states, including western Pennsylvania. The center of that quake was north of Evansville, Indiana, but it was felt in states from Missouri to West Virginia. There are no reports of any damage or injuries from tonight's earthquake. It measured an even 5 on the Richter scale, and that is considered moderate. Some people in Scranton are worried that certain bridges might come tumbling down. But as Night Beat reporter Joe Ducey tells us, the city has a plan to get those bridges back in shape.
Problems with the Hollow Avenue Bridge are obvious to anyone who uses it. But not only is the surface crumbling, other parts of the structure are also eroding. That has the 6 families that live here worried. Even though the city just put up weight limit signs, they're scared the bridge could fall and leave them isolated.
It's the only way we have to get in and out of here. And if the bridge comes down, then we're either stuck in or stuck out.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know there's houses down here.
Yeah.
And they have money for something else, but not here.
But city officials say help is on the way. This is one of 10 Scranton bridges on a new priority list, bridges that could be renovated or replaced in the next few years. The Rockwell Avenue Bridge is another one on that list. Here the problems may even be worse, with big gaps developing between stones that hold up the bridge. There is a 3-ton limit here, but Scranton's city engineer knows that is not the solution.
Many of our bridges are old. Many of them need serious repair work. The money is available through the federal and state government, and it takes a lot of preparation and work on the administration's part.
Under the government program, $6 million would be spent to repair the 10 Scranton bridges, only $420,000 coming from the city. But it's money the city hasn't allocated yet. If that happens soon, construction could begin in a couple of years. Residents along Hollow Avenue, who've been complaining about the bridge since 1984, hope this time the city comes through.
We're willing to wait a certain amount of time, but 1984 to now is kind of a long time.
Okay, 84 what? Joe Ducey, Newswatch 16 in Scranton.
School officials in Northumberland County say they'll take care of a bacteria problem in the Shamokin Elementary School this weekend. After school on Friday, the building will be disinfected. Tests show there's a higher than normal level of bacteria in the school, and that may be why some students and teachers have been feeling sick lately. About half the students at Shamokin Elementary did not show up for classes today because their parents are worried about the high bacteria levels. The Teamsters Union has replied to reports that the U.S. government is ready to go to court to order to remove the entire Teamsters Executive Board from office. The Justice Department is saying that the union is controlled by organized crime. Says the Teamsters, it's a political ploy of the Reagan administration. The charges are outrageous, and the Teamsters deny the union is mob-controlled. A new cancer study shows that the Pennsylvania ranks 12th highest in the number of cancer deaths in women in the 1970s and 14th highest in the cancer deaths of men at that time. But as Newswatch 16's Dr. Stephen Greenberg says, that's not as bad as it sounds. Steve looks ahead to cancer death trends in his Health Watch 16 report.
The trends in Pennsylvania predict a close to 2.5% fewer cancer deaths in women over a 5-year period. For men, there'll be a 3% increase in cancer deaths. These projections are more positive than the outlook for most other states. For example, 10% more men are expected to die in Kentucky. Dr. Norman Schulman is medical director of the Cancer Treatment Center in Wilkes-Barre. Dr. Schulman shines some light on why more men might die of cancer.
They're not dying of coronary artery disease. They're dying of their cancers, which is seen in an older age. We're seeing a decrease in women because I think they're going to the doctors earlier, and their gynecological cancers, their breast cancers are picked up in an earlier state.
Dr. Schulman feels that industry, toxic dumps, water pollution, and other environmental factors found here in northeastern and central Pennsylvania do add to our risk of getting cancer. But he feels the study shows that living here isn't worse than the risk nationally. Dr. Steve Greenberg, Health Watch 16, Luzerne County.
And coming up, millions of burning tires in Colorado, catching the space shuttle in a giant net, and the end of the economic summit in Venice. Those stories and more as Newswatch 16 Update continues.
athletes know that knee injuries can end careers. They also know that prompt treatment by a sports medicine specialist can return them to play. This is Mel Allen for the Knee Center, Northeast Pennsylvania sports facility for knee injuries. Professional, amateur, or weekend athletes with knee problems should consider the Knee Center. The Knee Center utilizes the latest techniques, including outpatient arthroscopic surgery. The Knee Center, just off I-81 below the Wyoming Valley Mall, Wilkes-Barre. When your knee hurts, call the Knee Center first.
What will you do when your needs outgrow your electronic typewriter? Will you trade in your electronic typewriter? Buy a whole new system? Nope, not if it's a Canon.
Add a disk drive that controls and stores an unlimited amount of text. Add a 12-inch screen that lets you see it all. At last, a letter-perfect document. You'll love never making mistakes again. Imagine an electronic typewriter, a full-featured word processor, a letter-quality printer. Call GBM now to get started.
The Economic Summit in Venice is over, and although nothing major was accomplished, ABC's Sheila Cast says the leaders who met in Venice are calling their session a great success.
As soon as the summit work sessions were over, President Reagan, in a meeting with French President Mitterrand, was ready with his assessment.
I think it's been a fine meeting.
But that didn't keep him from struggling to stay awake as his host, acting Italian Prime Minister Fanfani, read the long, technically worded communique on economic policy. In it, the summit leaders agreed to secretly set goals for their economies, keep track of the goals with special indicators, consult with each other, and take more drastic steps if economic growth does not keep up with their goals. But they did not specify what steps they take. In their earlier sessions, the other summit leaders pointedly criticized the big U.S. budget deficit. But Mr. Reagan said he had an answer.
No, we have been able to state the extent to which we are reducing it, and it's a very healthy percentage of reduction, probably more so than some others have.
For the most part, the leaders merely reaffirmed economic agreements they had reached earlier, including one to intervene in currency markets if necessary to keep the dollar from falling too far. Europeans blocked much movement toward President Reagan's goal of ending subsidies to farmers worldwide, and the U.S. refused to sign on to the French proposal that each country should commit 0.7% of gross national product to loans for poor countries. Still, Treasury Secretary James Baker insisted this summit was a success.
I can't really think of anything major that we asked, that we came here seeking, that we didn't get.
When the summit was over, Mr. Reagan was reunited with the First Lady, back from a 2-day drug conference in Sweden. The summit leaders tackled one new topic, AIDS, calling for international cooperation to find a cure for the deadly disease. They did not mention more widespread testing, as President Reagan favors. Instead, they said efforts to stamp out AIDS must focus on human rights. Sheila Cast, ABC News at the Economic Summit in Venice.
Now that the Economic Summit is over, the attention in Europe is now on tomorrow's elections in Britain. And that's our first story tonight as we take you around the world in a minute. British Prime Minister Thatcher is expected to be a big winner in tomorrow's elections, but her party may lose some seats in Parliament. Protesters in Korea are trying to convince the government to hold free elections. Hundreds were hurt in anti-government demonstrations today. During an outdoor mass in Poland, Pope John Paul called on the government to make good on promises to create a union for farmers. South African President Botha says he's extending his country's state of emergency. It was due to expire tomorrow night. The trial of New York subway vigilante Bernard Goetz is winding down. The defense gave its final arguments today. 6 million tires are burning in Colorado, and firemen from all over are trying to put them out. NASA is testing a giant net that would be used to catch the space shuttle if the spacecraft ever had to make an emergency landing on a short runway. Finally, this Frenchman is hoping to windsurf his way from New York across the Atlantic to France. And that's the world in a minute. And next, our meteorologist, Tom Clark, will be bundling up, it's not because of the wind, and head out to his chilly backyard. Tom, I thought we were finished with all this weather for a while, having something pleasant coming up.
Yeah, a bit unusual being this cold in June, but we do have some rain on the way, Nolan.
Uh-oh.
And that's not bad news.
That's good.
We could use some.
That's right.
Want to get in hot water with the farmers. When we come back, we'll talk about what's going to be coming up this weekend. Now, you're watching Newswatch 16 Update on WNEP TV, and we're proud to serve Mifflinville and all of Columbia County.
Come Come on down to the new Keepers.
Shop around at Keepers Jeans. Won't you come on down and have some fun with me?
Come and get to know us in a brand new way. We're Keepers, Jeans, and more. We always have the lowest price on blue jeans around here, but now we've got much more. Much, much more.
I'll meet you down at Keepers. Keepers Jeans and more.
In Berwick, Wilkes-Barre, and Kingston.
I've been shot at, shot up, and shot down, so I don't take chances on anything. I won't touch a filter that isn't from AC. Why mess with air filters that can't go for up to 30,000 miles, or oil filters that can't deliver up to 15,000?
Get an AC oil filter only $195 after rebate at Ballast Distributing, Freeland.
If you put your muscle into a job, use your head and do it with AC Delco.
Well, it may be chilly tonight, but if it's warm enough to take a dip tomorrow, then get out your swim trunks. The state is ready to take over and open the pool at Francis Slocum State Park in Luzerne County after almost 3 weeks' delay. A private operator was supposed to have the pool ready by Memorial Day weekend, but still hasn't come up with liability insurance, so the state is taking it over. The same goes to the closed gates at the pool in Lackawanna State Park. In fact, this summer, the State Park Service is running 4 of its pools since the private operators could not afford the insurance. The pools will be open from 11 in the morning to 7 at night every day through Labor Day, and the admission is $1.50. Good luck to all the swimmers. And you know, Tom, I don't mind the rain in the forecast. It's just I say, uh-oh, when it looks like it's coming up on the weekend.
I know, Nolan. I hate forecasting rain on weekends. I prefer just to have it rain at night. But we do have some rain coming, I think, by Friday of this week, and I think there is a chance of some rain over the weekend, as I see it now. But it is a beautiful night tonight. The moon is shining brightly. It's getting cold. It's in the 50s now in our backyard, and in some places by daybreak tomorrow it will be in the 30s. And I'll tell you in just a few seconds where I think there could be some frost overnight tonight. Now we begin out in Center County, where in Blanchard, Larry Rupert tells me 59 at his place under clear skies. Marie Krepitz in Slatington has 62, and it is now clear and 40. In Lopez, Bob McGuire is getting set for maybe some scattered frost up there tonight, where I think there could be some by daybreak tomorrow. And they get frost every month of the year up there in Lopez. There's a view this evening of the clock tower at the courthouse in Scranton. 55 in the backyard tonight. Perfectly clear, crystal clear. The humidity 50%. The wind is from the north at 6. The barometer rising as cold, dense air builds in. 30.2 inches on the barometer tonight. 70 and 50 the range here today. 93 and 39 are the records for this date. And it was a nice day 1 year ago today. On the radar tonight, the Skywatch 16 Doppler radar. No rain is being detected within 200 miles of home tonight. And it'll stay dry overnight tonight into the morning hours tomorrow. Here's the national radar view coming up next, and some big thunderstorms over the Dakotas and over Oklahoma and down over Texas, where they don't need any more rain. More flash flooding down there again tonight from some big storms. Notice some area of light rain now crossing Wisconsin, and it's heading on towards the southeast, towards Pennsylvania. So it won't be too much longer before it's raining here. Here's the cloud photograph for tonight, a close-up view of the northeast. Still in the clear for the most part over Pennsylvania. Steering winds in the upper atmosphere kind of blowing these clouds, these high cirrus clouds, in the direction of the upper air winds. And you notice some high clouds coming in, and that will be the case tomorrow. But the rain is, again, out in Wisconsin. So as you can see, the clear weather is not going to be lasting too much longer. But I think it's going to be a nice day tomorrow. Good bit of sunshine, but the clouds will be building in during the afternoon and evening hours, but I think the rain will hold off until Friday, as I see it now. Just a tad warmer tomorrow, but another cool, comfortable day with low humidities, and the wind will be shifting, coming out of the southwest in the afternoon, but not quite as strong as it was today. Tomorrow morning, at precisely 5:30, the sun will rise, and it'll set at 8:36. And for tonight, it's going to stay clear with plenty of bright moonlight overhead tonight. The full moon is tomorrow, by the way. 44 in the backyard. The record is 34. But in some of the cold spots tonight, it'll be in the mid to upper 30s by daybreak. A sunny start and then becoming rather cloudy by tomorrow evening. A dry day, though, and comfortable. Then some showers coming in late tomorrow night, probably after midnight. Some off and on showers on Friday. Another cold front on Saturday. I think some showers and a few scattered thunderstorms. And 75 on Sunday, Nolan, partly cloudy. The planet Saturn, just to the left of the moon. Come on out and have a look.
All right, we're going to look at that tonight. Okay, thanks, Tom. And coming up, Albie Oxenrider in for Tim Carlson with the Phillies battling the first-place Cards at the Vet, plus the Yanks looking to avoid a sweep. The Sports Watch next.
Government standards would allow me to call this a grade A chicken, but my standards wouldn't. This chicken is skinny, it has scrapes, and hairs. The fact is, my graders reject 30% of the chickens government graders accept as grade A. That's why it pays to insist on a chicken with my name on it. If you're not completely satisfied, write me, and I'll give you your money back. Who do you write in Washington? What do they know about chickens?
Hello, I think I'll have a steak dinner.
Well, Monty, it's your lucky day, because now at Bonanza, no matter which steak you order will include barbecue chicken, honey lemon chicken, or chicken Monterey. That's right, Monty, tender chicken for only $1 more, plus the Fresh Testings Food Bar, Bonanza's ever-changing, all-you-can-eat dream come true.
Can you imagine doing this for 20 years?
Well, we're a little disappointed tonight, but Albie's able to laugh at it. The station we depend on to send us the Phillies highlights from Philadelphia.
That's right.
Let us down.
As Tim would say, they bagged us.
They bagged us.
He'd be in the bag game. Phillies at the Vet tonight, finishing up a 3-game series with the St. Louis Cardinals. Tough night, though, for the Phils. They were looking for their second straight, but no way Louise, as Vince Coleman has 2 hits, 3 ribbies, and St. Louis beats Philadelphia by a final of 3-1. And yes, it is a final, so you can wipe the tears from your eyes. The Mets win today 13-2 over the Chicago Cubs. Mets avoid a sweep by the Cubs. Gary Carter gave them the lead with this shot to left center. Carter's 6th home run of the year. The Mets were on a roll today, and things didn't get any better for Chicago. 3rd inning, Keith Hernandez. He has shaved the mustache, and it must have worked. A 2-run shot here, his 6th of the season, and the Mets lead 5-0. Later in the inning, Tim Tuffle with a 3-run shot as the Mets just roll away with this one. Tuffle makes it 8-0. Mets win at 13-2. Dwight Gooden struck out 10 over 8, his 2nd straight win. And that is good news for Dwight Gooden. He's obviously now 2-0 because he just came back. San Francisco over Cincy 9-4. Atlanta beats L.A. 7-1. Dale Murphy hit his 18th there for the Braves. Montreal in 11 beats Pittsburgh 4-3. Herb Winningham at the game-winning hit in the bottom of the 11th there for the Spos. And Houston 10, San Diego 1. That game is now in the 9th inning. The Yankees come into this week's series with Toronto up a half game in the Blue Jays, but as fans of the infamous Doppler radar would say, how quickly things can change. Tonight, the Yanks had more frustration. Watch Len Sakata show you how not to play third base. Let the ball play him. Toronto scored 3 runs with 1 swing of the bat. George Bell, 3-run shot to left. He leads the American League with 21 home runs. Toronto wins at 4-1, 8 straight for the Jays. They've won 13 of 14. Yanks had 2 on in the 9th, but they couldn't score, and they are now 2.5 games back of the first-place Toronto Blue Jays. Other scores, Boston beats Baltimore 15-4. Red Sox rookie Ellis Burks, no relation to Newswatch 16's Marisa Burke, had 2 home runs, including a grand slam and 7 ribbies. Milwaukee beats Detroit in 10. B.J. Surhoff, 3-run shot in the 10th there for Milwaukee. Oakland 5-2 over Chicago. Mike Davis, no relation to Newswatch 16's Mark Davis, hit his 15th home run. It is 3-1 now. California over Cleveland. That is a first-inning score, and it is Texas and Seattle. 1-0. Seattle leads it in the 2nd inning. Yanks are on a skid, but they may have received some help from the Philadelphia Phillies today. A familiar face is back in the Big Apple. 36-year-old Mike Easler was traded today from Philly to New York with Matty Lee on the DL. Easler might be that good left-handed hitter the Yanks are looking for, and he'll get his shot. He had 1 hit tonight as the Yanks' designated hitter. In exchange, the Phillies received 2 minor league players. Still trying to figure that one out. It's off to Shippensburg for a few area baseball and softball teams looking for state titles. And quickly, let's look at tomorrow's schedule. These are state semifinal games or Eastern finals, whichever you prefer. AAA baseball at 10 a.m. tomorrow. Valley View plays Penn Ridge at Grove Stadium. Then at 1 o'clock at Grove Stadium, Bellefonte and Bethel Park from near Pittsburgh. At Memorial Park, 10 o'clock game. Lackawanna Trail plays Newport in a AA matchup. AAA softball at Robb Field. Williamsport plays Chambersburg at 10 a.m. And AA softball at Dock Norcross Field. Minersville plays Daniel Boone at 10 a.m. We'll have highlights of everything tomorrow at 6 o'clock. Wayne Gretzky's played in the NHL for 8 years, and all 8 years he's won the Hart Trophy as the league's MVP. Tonight, he kept the perfect string alive by taking this year's award. The great one led the National Hockey League in scoring for the 7th straight time. He finished with 62 goals and 121 assists, total of 183 points for Gretzky's. Flyers goaltender Ron Hextall did not win Rookie of the Year, but he did take the Vezina Trophy as the NHL's top goaltender. Flyers captain Davey Pullen won the Selke Trophy as the league's top defensive forward. Oakland A's pitcher Joaquin Andujar refused to attend the awards ceremony tonight, as he did at this spring's Academy Awards ceremony. All the big NASCAR races will be in town this weekend. It's the first big NASCAR race of the year at Pocono, all except one, I should say. King Richard Petty will have to miss the next 2 Winston Cup races because of 2 broken ribs he suffered in a crash at Dover, Delaware, but Petty's still expected to keep his consecutive race streak alive by running the pace lap. I don't think that should count, but then again, Richard Petty is the king. And just when you thought it was safe to get back on the streets, the Instabats return. Tonight, we played 44 Little League coaches. There's Tim Carlson with the shot in this game early. Tim had the batting gear tonight. We got our clocks clean, though. And look at me, hit one up the middle there. We had some pretty good hitting, but the 44 coaches, just too tough tonight. Rumor has it they were corking their bats, but that might have been tough since they were aluminum bats. Here's the fishing game forecast. And everybody's asking me how I can get back from the games and get changed so fast. Well, this is the trick. I've got the 16 shirt on.
Uh-huh. Nobody knew that watching you tonight. You realize that?
No one knew it. It doesn't go with
I
the
knew
suit.
it. Because you're working too close to me, so I knew it.
You also know the rest of my garb here.
That's right, Albie. Still ahead, who's cooking? We're talking about food now at the White House. But first, tonight's lottery numbers. The daily number is, for all of you, in the 278 Montrose telephone exchange. And here's those Super 7 numbers: 3, 19, 21, 26, 50, 53, 54, 68, 74, 75, 77. And incidentally, the state says we won't know till tomorrow if there were any winners on tonight's big Super 7. We'll be right back.
Many drug interactions have been avoided, some so serious they could have been fatal, in the years since Phase started monitoring prescriptions with AccuPhase. How does it happen? Well, take this medication and you're on the road to recovery. But put it together with this one, and you have an interaction. Phase was one of the first drug chains in the world to install an electronic pharmacy assistant, because we know there simply isn't a better way to monitor your prescriptions than with AccuPhase. Let Phase monitor your next prescription.
These are Long John Silver's unique sea salads. Each is delicious. Each is made fresh every day and loaded with seafood. Which is the best? Well, you might disagree, but my favorite is the seafood salad. Or it might possibly be that incredible ocean chef. Now, you say I was wrong that the new seafood pasta salad is the best. Then you'd storm out of the room, Matt, and wait, because we haven't even talked about the combo salad yet.
Long John Silver's.
You might be right.
Sounds good to me.
Finally tonight, a new junta has taken over at the White House. This particular junta, or in this case we better say junta, is in good taste. It comes in the form of a new presidential chef. 24-year-old Steve Junta of Grand Rapids, Michigan, has taken the job as the first family's private chef. A reporter asked the chef if he knew what kind of food the Reagans liked.
They like lighter foods, a lot more white meat, a lot of fish and vegetables, and less heavier, starchy foods.
He says he owes his cooking talents to his father, who taught him the art when he was 14. Junta was recommended for the job by the coach of his culinary Olympic team. Good luck to that young man. That's our Newswatch 16 update for tonight. Good night.